How to customize order statuses in StoreConnect. So I'm in Salesforce right now. I'm in the StoreConnect app, and order statuses are these things along the top here. This is basically the sections of progress which an order can move through. And by simply selecting another status and marking it as the current status, you can move it along the line. And as the statuses progress, they can trigger new actions to occur in your store or your org. But you aren't just limited to these two statuses. Say, for instance, I want my order statuses to also include a shipped status and a fulfilled status. So here's how to do that. If I'm on my order object already, I can simply go to the cogwheel in the top right corner and go Edit Object. This will bring up the order object in the Salesforce Object Manager. You can also find it simply by going to the Object Manager and finding the order object in the list. Once here, click on Fields and Relationships. And from this list, search Status. Open Status, and here you can edit the status pick list. The pick list just basically being the statuses which can be picked from a list. And down at the bottom here, we have our two current statuses, Draft and Activated. For reference, here's a list of commonly used order statuses in StoreConnect. So now if I just click New, I can add a new order status. I give it a name, give it an API name, which it will be referred to, and then select a status category. Now there are two status categories available, Draft and Activated. Draft enables the record to be fully editable, as in you can add or remove products and change quantities, change pricing, and update things in general. A draft order status can also be deleted without affecting any financial reports or customer records. Whereas an activated status basically locks the record so it cannot be changed and can then go ahead and trigger further processes in your org, such as generating invoices and updating inventory counts. An activated order can also not be deleted. So for the ship status, I want this to be an activated category. I'll then go Save and New, and I'll make another status Fulfilled for when the package has actually arrived. And again, select this as an activated status. I'll actually additionally go ahead and add a cancelled status. So this would be in the event that a customer cancels an order and refunds and stock reversions would need to be made. So in this status, I would select a draft status so that records can then be manually changed as needed. Save that. Very good. So we now have a total of 5 order statuses in my list here. I can also click the Reorder button, and if necessary, I can change the order of these statuses. So for instance, in my personal preference, I wouldn't want the cancelled status to appear as the last status in an order. So I can simply move this up to appear before draft. Now by default, all new order records begin at draft anyway. So new orders are not going to necessarily come up as cancelled. They will come up as drafts and can then have their order status changed as needed. So I'll save this. Very good. It's also important to know that the standard draft order status cannot have its API name or status changed without affecting synchronization. You can, however, change its value name. So this is now all done. If I go back to my order record now, I'll refresh the page, and voila. So I now have 5 order statuses available to me, from activated onto shipped and fulfilled. And in case of cancellations, I also now have a cancelled order status available. Finally, there is also a way to change how the customer sees these order statuses on the customer account side of things. And this can be done using translations. Let's have a look at this now. So in StoreConnect, if I go down to StoreConnect Navigation, I'll open Configuration, Stores, All Stores, select my store, and first of all, just verify what theme your store is currently using. Here I've got the clean theme. Now in order to affect some translations, I need to edit this theme. Open it up. And then in the Related tab, look for Theme Locales. This is used for translations, but can also be used for many other things. So here I've got the English translation. I'm going to open this up. And then under the Related tab, we have all the individual translations, which are part of this group. So basically how this works is you can create a new translation. You give it the key which corresponds to what you want to translate. And then you just give it a value. And then it basically takes that key and translates it to read as that value. So for instance, on my customer account screen, if I go to orders, currently the order status shows up here as draft because this order status is currently at draft. However, the word draft is meaningless to a customer and they may get confused as to what it actually means. Like, did their order even go through? So I want to change this to something more appropriate, such as processing. So I'll do this now using this translation. So I simply click New, and then I enter the translation key which corresponds to that order status of draft. So this is the key here which affects order statuses. And if I add draft onto the end here, this will now affect the naming of draft. And now in value, I can simply type processing. Save this. It's now created that translation. Now if I go back to the orders screen here on the customer side, refresh the page, and voila. The order status for the customer now says processing, even though on the back end it remains as draft. And it's as simple as that to update your order statuses in StoreConnect.